Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the CoinRock Show. We are live, and the question is, are we back? Are we back? Is the crypto market back? We'll have a look today. We have a lot of news. Let's just push out some of the links here. Welcome. Type in 1 if you can hear and see me. Audio should be okay. Everything's tested. Well, we have a lot of news today. News that just came in. We have regulation news, we have Trump news, we have crypto news. Welcome. It's going to be a fun one. Will be, you know how the show goes, about 45 to 60 minutes, sometimes more, but generally I'm having trouble actually getting a single episode done under 45 minutes because there's so much to cover, but it's fun. Welcome everyone. Let's push this out to the groups. We are live. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everyone to join. It's gonna be a fun one here. So let me just have a look at some of the comments here. Some of the DMs, all good. All right, should be good to go. All right, welcome. So we are, let me just move this up here. There you go. It's Thursday, and we're seeing some more green today. The market, as you can see on the timeline, the market is still pretty dead, right? There's let's say we're in this choppy. We talk about this every day lately. We're in this kind of choppy downward phase with Bitcoin at 81 points. Let's refresh this. 81.4, 81K. We've basically been between 81 and 81, 82 and 78 for the last few like 2 weeks now. And it's something that, Alter, of course, dropping, and as you guys know, Alter always drop more. Let me just have a look here at some of the socials. You can see the team is on. Very good. Should be good here. And all right. So yeah, 81.1 on the day, on the week. Of course, pretty much literally everything in the top 100 is red on the day. It's a bit better today. That being said, the question is, of course, are we back, or is it all over, right? There's no, you guys know, in crypto, there was no neutral. There was no, how's it going, guys? Welcome. Type in, comment. I want to hear from you guys. Good to see you, Kobe, Zach. We end up these, we usually end these shows with about 200 plus views, which is actually not bad in this horrendous market. When the market's a bit better, we're usually between 50 and 100 and almost 2,000 people. So that's, we'll definitely see. It's actually a good indicator to see how, and you'll see this in the next few weeks or months, whenever the market decides to really pump, you will see hundreds and hundreds, and will be over 1, 2, 3, 5K viewers on these shows. It is very, very dependent on the market. And you'll see this on YouTube. We actually track this too. You'll see views, attendance rates just being much lower when the market sucks, much higher when the market is high. So you're here, and like I said, what's interesting is when the market drops, or it's been dropping for weeks now, the tourists leave, right? And this is when you guys should be focused. This is when the money's made. It's staying focused. It's being on these live streams. It's connecting in communities and groups, looking at alts, DCAing, buying more of the alts that you like, or averaging down on your positions. This is when you do it, right? This is actually when you have to, quote, work. And when the market is pumping, you do nothing. You just wait. But this is when you actually have an opportunity to buy good projects for cheap. Some of the alts have been crushed. 60, 70, 80, 90%. Even the ones with good teams, good projects, it's been brutal. But this is when you need to stay focused. So today, let's have a look. ETH ETH is, of course, price action being horrendous as always. 1800s. I think we had a big liquidation. I think I pulled it up for you guys. We have a lot of stuff to review today. Some days we have so much news, and today is one of them. So Bitcoin, of course, in this choppy kind of no like boring zone, nothing happening. As you guys know, whenever when there's no super bullish news, crypto tends to go down. So we do have the Kingmaker trade. We talked about that yesterday, right? When not if, when the US government stops basically nuking stocks and the economy deliberately, and they actually try to when they decide to stop bringing uncertainty, and when they decide to actually bring certainty to the market, to investors. When we see interest rates, when we see getting dropped, when we see QE, that's when we will see the markets pop again. And you can see it's been on my timeline. I've seen more of that talk. So the combo of QE and rate cuts, bullish. We'll see in a few days, right? We have some news from the Fed, I believe. Or is it CPI in a few days? Let me have a look here. Yeah, FOMC is in 5 days, and the next CPI data in April. That will give a lot of insights on, what's at least an idea. We're looking at rate cuts sooner rather than later, so we'll see. That being said, let's dive into news. I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to the CoinRock Show. We have I think it's gonna take us at least an hour to go through all these headlines. Let's have a look. So, crypto whale liquidated for $308 million in high stakes. Oh, this was an ETH trade, right? So we have a lot of articles that literally popped up on CoinRock Media in the last couple hours. So some of them I just skimmed because I didn't have time. I was on other calls. But this one is imagine getting liquidated for this amount of money. Of course, if you can lose and get liquidated, it means you've done well. And so, unless you're completely brain dead, you actually have other assets. But always sucks to lose 308 million or to be liquidated, right? So a high-profile cryptocurrency trader lost over $308 million in a leveraged ETH trade, one of the largest liquidations in recent months. 50x leveraged long position. We talked about this. I keep saying this every single day. If you want to leverage trade, don't put all your chips in that one trade. It's like leverage trading is fine. I mean, I think it's something that should only be done if you actually have a skill set, if you actually have at least some sort of understanding of how markets work and charts work. If not, and you've lost money in the last few months, leverage trading today with betting everything you have and leverage trading today in the hopes of making your money back, it's probably the most retarded way to lose money. At least have fun. Go on vacation. Do whatever you want to do with, people of the other sex or the same sex, maybe. I don't know if that's your thing. But at least have fun. And it'll give you, you'll actually enjoy it more than getting the liquidation email or the warning. So there's better ways to lose your money than going all in on a 50x leverage position if you're trying to make everything back. Again, there's way more fun ways to lose money than doing this. That being said, crypto and gambling, as we know, the link is very much, there's a big overlap, right? The Venn diagram between gambling, right? Gamblers and crypto quote investors. In this case, going 50x leverage, that is extreme levels of either retardedness or conviction. The line between conviction and idiocy is very thin. In this case, yeah. In this case, $308 million is not fun, right? So again, just an example here. You know, we joke about leverage trading. I think it's fine. It's fine. It's if it's part of your strategy and you just want to play with a bit of money. I would not advise anything. First of all, I would not advise financially anything about anything ever. So you're big boys, big girls. You decide what you want to do with your money. That being said, if it was me, if it was a family member who asks for my opinion, not advice, but my opinion, leverage trading at extremely high levels, anything over 10x is an invitation to get an invitation to get hunted, to get your position hunted. So if you play it as a casino and it's like, all right, I'm going to put X amount of money in 50x it, fine. But extremely high risk. So again, like I said, there's more fun ways to enjoy your money if you want to lose it. This is interesting. Tether transfers hit 6-month high as traders prepare to re-enter the market. So we've been talking about this, right? So the market has been pretty much down only for the last several weeks, last 2 months, pretty much. It's been very interesting to see the just the risk off, the risk off / depression vibe on Twitter and on social media in general. So right now, this is very interesting. Tether's on-chain activity has reached a 6-month high, signaling a potential influx of traders gearing up to buy the dip. Remember, in bull markets, pullbacks are very normal. You want to buy the dip if you believe we are in a bull market. You should believe and you should be aware that buying the dip in bull markets is something that you do. We've seen these pullbacks, these Bitcoin pullbacks every single cycle. So if you believe that the bull market is not dead, we're getting to points, we're getting to prices, we're DCAing or buying or taking for some big positions in alts or in Bitcoin is getting very interesting. So the surge in stablecoin movement coincides with Bitcoin's decline to a 4-month low of 76K. Broader macro uncertainties weigh on the crypto market. We talk about this every show. We talk about the tariffs. We talk about there was even the word quote recession used this week in the US media. So uncertainty. Remember, investors hate uncertainty. And when stocks go down, especially we saw Nvidia, we saw a lot of tech stocks go down, of course, crypto is going to get crushed. That being said, for those who are in stables, this is looking very bullish for the mid to long term. The recent increase in USDT transactions mirrors past trends. So again, market sentiment and stablecoin activity diverge. Right now, we're still in this kind of lull between 77 and 81, 82. Nothing really happening. Be careful on the weekends. We might see something move on the weekend, up or down. Weekend price point. This is something that no one really teaches you, right? So any kind of price action on weekends is highly suspicious. So if you're trading if you're leveraged, you have to be careful. But on top of that, if you're leveraged or you're trying to trade on the weekend, RIP, my friends, be careful. But this is interesting, right? Indicators suggest buying pressure is building. People are, investors are seeing that, yes, again, like I said, for those who believe that we're still in a bull phase, bull cycle, bull market, right? That we have all-time highs coming up in the next few months, 3, 6, 12 months. This is like we're getting to a point now where this is when you DCA. So it kind of confirms what we talked about with the Kingmaker trade. People getting around the idea of, okay, what's happening in the US with the US government kind of tanking stocks and bringing so much manufactured uncertainty to the markets. It's almost like, wait, hang on a sec. This is a bit too obvious. All right, so at some point there's going to be an opportunity, and this is when the money's made, right? It's in these dips. It's buying these dips. Again, Tether in the news yesterday. We talked about this too. Former CTO, CEO of Tether, Paolo, talked about this. We talk about this almost every day, because Tether is one of the main players in crypto. And Paolo saying the path hasn't been smooth, from dealing with strict rules from regulators to hearing critics question if Tether's reserves were real. We talk about this too. I literally just had a look before the show, because here he says about countless audits, unpredictable markets, etc. Tether is looking at getting audited this year. They have a self-assessment kind of document that they put out, but having a full third-party audit would bring a lot of trust and transparency. So again, and yeah, so something to understand too is, in countries, this is something that if you live in Europe, you probably don't see this, right? But Tether has become a lifeline for people in countries with insanely high inflation, like Venezuela or Turkey, where local currencies often lose their value. People actually buy and live and exchange goods and services with USDT. So I hope that Tether will be okay. I think they will be. I've always said that they are the glue in crypto. It will be, if you are pro crypto and you want this industry to thrive, you must want USDT to do well. The calamity, the chaos, the apocalypse, the nuclear destruction in crypto that would happen if anything happens to USDT would be catastrophic. Cataclysmic. Those are big words. Big words today, guys. You have to pray to the USDT gods and to the regulators and hope that USDT stays on exchanges and stays one of the top 3 at least, stablecoins. Moving on to politics, 6 Trump administration officials disclosed millions in Bitcoin holdings. Remember this? I talked about this, I think it was like probably 2 weeks ago. I said that one of the elements, one of the theories in my thesis when I switched from Web 2 into Web 3, and when I still have a portfolio in Web 2 of Web 2 businesses. That's where I come from. Actually, I come from Web 1. So many of you actually were not even born when I started building websites almost 25 years ago. One of the main reasons that I decided to really go deep into crypto is because of this. Politicians owning crypto. Politicians who are the new lawmakers, regulators, who have influence, are now between age 30 and 50. Of course, Trump is on the older side, but he's surrounded by the younger generation, right? Everyone knows now that Barron Trump, Trump's son, was instrumental on guiding basically Trump's strategy, placing him and pushing him to do podcasts, to communicate, to appeal to younger voters. So even though Trump is older, he's well advised, and he's advised by people half his age. Barron is like 20 years old. So this was one of my core ideas of like, okay, if I make a move in crypto, in Web3 and building, it is also because the current and future politicians in the EU, in the US, and this is around COVID. The future decision makers will be my age, a bit younger, a bit older, and they will have grown with digital assets. And so that was one of my core ideas of like, yes, this is worth really investing time and money, of course, and spending time into understanding the ecosystem and how everything works, because it's happening today. 6 Trump officials disclosed millions in holdings. 6 members of President Trump's cabinet disclosed Bitcoin holdings worth millions. So all these politicians, so people who have like key positions, have to disclose their financial. So they have to disclose stock that they own, property they own, and of course now digital assets. So very bullish on this. Financial disclosures filed in January reveal 6 of the 22 cabinet members. So that's about one out of, that's like 25%, right? A quarter of cabinet members, right? So Trump's team, core team, hold Bitcoin directly or through investment vehicles. So, Bobby Kennedy talked about being a very big Bitcoin bull, and Treasury Secretary also very much super well connected in the TradFi space, of course, comes from TradFi, and mentioned ownership of BlackRock's ETF. Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, Tulsi Gabbard, and so Trump's team owns crypto. Very bullish for your bags. Very bullish. And the good thing is, what's interesting with Trump's, we talk about this with friends, IRL. What is very interesting with this Trump cabinet compared to the one in 2016 is that in 2016 he didn't know he was going to win. That's a very well-known story now. He was surprised to win the election this time around, and so when he won, he had to fill thousands of jobs, basically get people around for all these different agencies around the president. And so he talked about this. I think it was on Joe Rogan, on the Rogan podcast, right before the election a few months ago. So this was, I think, actually exactly 6 months ago, where he said, going in without any real political experience means that he had to kind of listen to, quote, advisors, and he got bad advice and he hired the wrong people, and he surrounded himself with people who he didn't want to, or he actually had to find out during his presidency that they didn't share his vision, or that they just were pushing their own interests. And so this time around, if you look at the age, these guys, many key people in Trump's cabinet are younger than me even. So the Secretary of Defense is, I believe, either my age or a few years older than me. Former Navy SEAL. Tulsi Gabbard is like 30. How old is she? 35, 40 years old. Tulsi Gabbard age. She's 43. So the 35 to 45 age range, again, we all grew up with digital assets. So extremely bullish. They are the current and future policymakers. So this is bullish for your bags. Very different to Trump's first presidency. Another bullish headline. This is, one thing that's been interesting over the last few weeks is every single day we do this show, every single day I show you headlines. This is the news. No one's making this up. This is the news, right? These headlines are so bullish, and yet price action sucks. And if there was less uncertainty coming from tariffs, coming from even just the Ukraine-Russian conflict, what's happening with Israel, kind of all the warmongering side of things, of course, tariffs are I'd say one of the leading causes of fear, uncertainty in the market right now. These headlines are crazy bullish. Another one here: OKX expands in Europe with acquisitions of a firm in Malta. marking a significant step toward offering regulated derivative products across Europe. So this is interesting because the EU doesn't give licenses. So every country, every area, the EEA in this case, the European Economic Area, has different rules, different let's call it tolerance points, tolerance levels compared to countries in the Middle East, countries in Asia, China, India, or the US, of course. The EU doesn't give licenses easily. Some, like acquiring a crypto license in some of the tier 1 countries in Europe, can take up to 2 years. A lot of background checks, a lot of due diligence by the regulator. And so expanding to Europe is super bullish. OKX got their VARA license, so the Dubai digital asset license. I think it was November, December, a few months ago. So they've been expanding aggressively, very bullish for of course OKX, but of course for the space. And Europe is, again, not easy to operate in Europe. A lot of we talked about Tether being, having to basically, Tether's getting removed from several tier 1 exchanges in Europe. It is not an easy space to operate if you are in crypto. OKX has been actively securing regulatory approvals across multiple jurisdictions, particularly Europe. And I don't know if this one mentions the Dubai one. No, quick facts. OKX has acquired a MIFID 2 licensed investment firm in Malta. So this is interesting too, right? So I've done a few acquisitions, mainly SaaS and so Web 2, either information brands, information products, or SaaS, so software as a service. So one of the best ways to enter a market is either to build a business from scratch or to acquire. And so what's interesting too is the higher you go in wealth, the more acquisitions become common. Big players who want to enter a market usually don't spend time building teams, securing licenses from day one. Usually they go after acquisitions. They look at, okay, who can we buy to immediately enter the market? So great move by OKX. Again, very competitive space in Europe, right? So Binance, Bybit, Coinbase, Kraken's also in Europe. So a lot of competition, which means more onboarding potential. So onboarding more users, and also lower fees, of course, because all these big guys are going to be competing for market share, so they have to be appealing. So that's very bullish too. Again, bullish news. So I saw this one. This was a headline that exploded literally 2-3 hours ago on social. Trump family in talks for Binance stake as crypto giant seeks US return. So this was breaking news, and I believe right before this show, CZ, let's have a look on Twitter. I believe that CZ said or commented that, let's have a look. I'm going to pull up CZ's tweet here. So he says, sorry to disappoint. The Wall Street Journal. So the Wall Street Journal actually cracked this story first. The Wall Street Journal got the facts wrong. More than 20 people have told me they were asked by the Wall Street Journal about. So this story has 2 stories in it. One is Trump family getting a stake in Binance, which is insane, by the way. Interesting rumor, but even if it's not true today, we've seen stranger things happen, right? The way these games work is they'll float a rumor, see the response, and then confirm it in a few days or a few weeks. Representatives of Trump's family have engaged in discussions to acquire a stake in Binance US, the American arm of Binance. So Binance has Binance World basically, and then Binance US, two separate entities. The talks come as Binance's founder, CZ, seeks a presidential pardon. That's the sub story in this, right? Again, interesting. Maybe it's fake news by the Wall Street Journal. Maybe it's almost preemptive. Maybe they're just someone has some insider info. We'll see. So this popped on social, and after this, like an hour after this came out, CZ just tweeted saying, "Hey, this actually isn't true." He says, "No felon would mind a pardon, especially being the only one in." Actually, let me see if I can pull up. Let me see if I can pull up the tweets. Where can we go here? Do we have the tweet link here? I don't think so. Let me pull this up here. So this is the tweet that CZ pushed after the news. "Sorry to disappoint. So no felon would mind a pardon, especially being the only one in U.S. history who was ever sentenced to prison for a single BSA charge. Feels like the article is motivated as an attack on the president and crypto." We'll see. I think, these stories always have something. Could be completely fake. That's possible too. Or it could be kind of the beginning of something. High stakes negotiations and the White House. So yes, after this story broke, we'll see. But that being said, one thing that's very real is, of course, Trump being the first pro-crypto U.S. president changes things. For those who remember FTX, right? So FTX was a U.S.-based exchange, went to zero because of fraud. They actually moved their headquarters from the U.S. to the Bahamas. And then FTX, so SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, and CZ got into a fight. CZ basically said, "Hey, we're dumping the token, the FTT token," and that represented too much selling pressure for FTX. And then they had to basically liquidate a lot of assets, and that exposed a massive hole in FTX, and then the exchange went to basically zero. Very quick summary, right? You can find this. There's been documentaries and books about this. And so then CZ went to jail for 4 months, which is amazing, by the way. Only 4 months. Unbelievable. I think that was super bullish of course, for him, for the industry. And now that Trump is pro-crypto, of course, there's actually talks. I've had this conversation with Justin, so my partner at Jeetbot. By the way, we have some big Jeetbot updates coming up in the coming days, next week, early next week. I'm just looking at the calendar here. So around the 20th, so around the 18th of March. Bullish news for Jeetbot. If you're not trading with Jeetbot, you should, because we have some very cool updates, and we'll be pushing a bunch of upgrades to the bot. But that's a separate story. Justin, so it's CoinRock partnered with Justin, ex Black Hat WikiLeaks CIA hacker. So he basically hacked the CIA senior officials at the CIA, and he went to jail for about, I think it was 5 years. We had him on the show twice. I mean, we talk pretty much every day because we're partners at Jeetbot, and also with Lucas, blockchain boy, one of the top KOL influencers in the US markets. And there's actually talks. Justin told me that there's actually talks about FTX potentially relaunching in the US. Again, why not? Why not? Binance is pushed to re-enter the US market. So Binance, of course, still exists. Binance.us basically shut down. But now with CZ out and with Trump being pro crypto, why not? Of course, it makes sense, right? I think this is something that would make perfect sense in the current climate. I think it was very difficult, of course, with the previous SEC team, Gensler and everything. Of course, the anti-crypto army with Elizabeth Warren and Operation Choke Point, which was basically meant to ruin crypto and to stop Americans from on-ramping and off-ramping. And this is a real possibility now. I do think that the odds of seeing Binance US relaunch in a way are over 50%. That's my view. Especially when we see these kind of rumors and headlines. It's there's always, what's that saying? There's no smoke without fire. Without no smoke, yeah, no smoke without fire, right? Let's have a look. No smoke without fire. I'd be surprised if Binance US doesn't relaunch at some point. Let's talk about the North Koreans. Lazarus Group moves stolen. It's tomorrow will mark the 3-week anniversary of the Bybit $1.4 billion ETH hack. Let's see this headline. Lazarus Group moves stolen Ethereum and deploys new crypto malware. Certic says we have detected 400 ETH using Tornado Cash. Lazarus Group is again at the center of a major cryptocurrency laundering operation. Of course, when you steal money, you have to launder it on March 13th. So this is today. Certic flagged a suspicious deposit of just under $1 million to the Tornado Cash mixing service. This is the diagram of the wallets. The latest laundering effort follows a series of high-profile crypto heists. So, of course, the Bybit exchange. So Bybit got hacked. And new malware launched by Lazarus. Again, they need to launder this money. They've used centralized exchanges. We talked about, I think it was OKX yesterday. We talked about using decentralized methods, right? Like Thorchain last week. So they need to move this money, and they will not stop until they're done. Speaking of scams, I have this one here that's very interesting too, and this is something that I can actually tell you guys. We've seen this. CoinRock, we've seen this happen. Crypto founders targeted by North Korean hackers in fake Zoom attacks. So be very, very, very careful. We have seen this, I'd say, about a dozen times over the last 12 months. More so, I'd say from Q3 onwards last year. I talked about this on a space with Lucas, actually. This is very interesting. It's becoming more prevalent. So if someone sends you, we've seen this in several ways. Let's have a look at the article, and I'll tell you our experience with this. A new wave of North Korean-linked cyber attacks is targeting crypto founders using fake Zoom calls to deploy malware and steal sensitive data. At least 3 crypto executives have reported encountering the scam, which exploits human psychology to trick victims into installing malicious software. According to Nick Baxon, member of the White Hat hacking group Security Alliance, the attackers pose as VCs. We've had this. I'll tell you our experience. Or potential partners. The scam unfolds in the following steps. The victim is invited to a Zoom meeting or another virtual call under the pretense of a business opportunity. We had this last week even. So we've had this with OTC deals. We've had this with job interviews and partnerships. 3 different ways CoinRock, and this is just one example, right? This is just CoinRock. So this is how they do it, right? The victim is invited to a Zoom meeting. Once the call starts, the attackers claim to be experiencing an audio malfunction, right? Audio issues, displaying a stock video of a VC appearing disengaged. So basically acting like, oh, he can't hear you. Oh, I can't hear you, blah, 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 blah. And so that's the video playing. Then they say in the Zoom chat, they say, "Hey, I can't hear you. Can we jump on this other conferencing system?" They send you a fake link instructing the victim to install a patch to fix the audio or video problem. Once installed, the malware infects the victim's device, granting the hackers access to critical data, including private keys, and you're fucked with a capital F. Actually, fucked in capital letters. It's over. RIP. So this is interesting. So I didn't see this tweet, but yeah, the threat group has stolen tens of millions of dollars, and others are copying their tactics. So I'll tell you what happened several times. In three different ways. This will happen to you guys too. Type in 1 if you're ready to hear this, and please, please, please pay attention to this. Last week, and we get this now it's about once or twice a week. We had it twice last week, once this week. Let me see if I think I deleted the messages. If I can pull up the messages, I'll show them to you tomorrow. I'll actually get the CoinRock media team to write an article, because what I do is I block and delete. So I don't know if I have them, but listen to this. It's always the same fucking story. Hey, so you're the founder of Cyclix Games. Congratulations on the project. So they glaze you, right? Congratulations. It seems like a very exciting project. I represent big pockets. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the idea. I represent big pockets and rich, wealthy crypto investors. We would like to buy OTC. Please send me information. And they usually say the amount of like between $500,000 and $1 million on OTC. Of course, it gets a founder's attention. I've been online for over 20 years. There's not a scam I haven't seen. You have to understand, guys, right? And if any of you guys are listening trying to hack, right? I've seen every hack you can possibly imagine. I've seen hacks before you fuckers were even born. So, of course, if you're a young crypto founder and you need money, and someone says, "Hey, I love the project. I represent an investors group. We can invest between $500,000 and $1 million OTC, which means cash. Could we schedule a call?" And let me actually see if I have this message. Just looking at Telegram here. OTC. I think I deleted. But I get them at least once a week. So next time I get them, I will yeah, I think I deleted the last ones. Next time I get one, I'll tell the CoinRock team to actually put together an article for this. Hey, Matthias here, and if you're enjoying this and want access to even more alpha, early stage deals and opportunities, and also behind the scenes insights on the markets, hit the link in the description and make sure you're subscribed. It's free and it puts you ahead of the curve. Let's get back to the show. Yeah, I believe nope. I deleted that, but that's the idea, right? So number one, let me just have a look at something quick. Oh, there you go. So Aragon, thank you for the DM. That's exactly the screenshot. I don't have the full screenshot because I posted this actually oh, this is actually the screenshot. I don't know if you guys can see this. So try to take a screenshot of this. Can you see this? No, you can't. No. Can you screenshot this? So I'll read it to you. So this is the end of the conversation. So this is between, so they said that they wanted to buy, I think it was between, this one was between $50,000 and $100,000 OTC, or maybe 50, but it's always between six figures and high six figures. And so of course we've seen this. So I play along, and then he's like, hey, click this link. And I'm like, no, I'm not clicking any link. He's like, oh, can you add me to the Discord? I'll send you a message on Discord. I say no. And then I added Caius to the group too. And Caius says, hey, it doesn't need to be on Discord, right? Because of course, there's also some legit OTC deals. I mean, we've done many OTC deals, buying or selling. So nothing new. Some of them are legit, but usually it's always through someone that you know. And like, there's always risk even with people you know, but usually OTC deals should be done with people that you trust, or you at least have met once. It is a high risk, especially if you are using a third party to quote custody. OTC can always go wrong, but you usually don't do OTC with someone you've never met. So Kaya says, hey, no need to be on Discord, right? It could be here. So we can do the transaction here. And I said, hey, send the money first. We'll send you the tokens. Simple. By the way, if you guys want to do OTC, we do facilitate OTC. This is directly with me or Caius. And yeah, it's very simple. We will never send tokens first. You send the money first. We send the tokens after that. That's just how we deal. So Caius says, can deal over Telegram or Zoom? Because I was like, hey, let's play this guy. And I was like, no, stick to Telegram. I said, we will send you wallet address, and you can send funds when you're on the computer. He was like, oh, I'm not on the computer, this, that, all these bullshit excuses, right? And I said, we will send tokens after receiving the funds. Because sometimes they say, oh, yeah, we want to buy $500,000 worth of the token, but we need you to send as a proof, as an act of good faith, we need you to send $10,000, $20,000 of tokens first. And then what they do is, if you send that, they dump immediately on the chart, right? So don't do that. And of course, after that, this guy with the name Mike, of course, a fake name, disappeared from the group. So this happens very often. So the fake OTC deal. The other way so that's number one. Number two, so be very careful if people say, hey, I'd like to buy, especially if you guys are active in groups, in any of the CoinRock groups or any other projects, and you say that you are a whale in a project, people will reach out through DMs and say, hey, can I buy OTC? I want to buy like a big chunk. For you, it's appealing because you can offload quickly. Be very careful. That being said, so that's number one. That being said, OTC is real, but you must go through either the founders directly. That reduces the risk. Of course, there's scummy founders too, but for us, it's always a matter of like, we've done OTC deals with the community. You're better off reaching out to the founders directly and be very careful of any DMs you receive. That's number one. Coming back to this article, number two is the fake interview. So this is something that we get in DMs too. I shared a few times. Actually, I tweeted about this a few months ago. This happens several times a month. They'll send a DM. I don't think I have a DM because I blocked them. But again, when we have these, I'll actually tell the CoinRock media team to actually, let me see if I can pull this up, to write an article. The fake interview is like, hey, I am a developer. I know Rust. I know Solidity. I've built on Solana. I even launched a Memecoin. Are you looking for developers? And what they do is, let me have a look. Developers, devs. What they do then is chats. I can't find something. Hey devs, no. Can't find this. But they'll say, hey, I want to work for you, and I've done DeFi. So that's usually a red flag. And so the first thing we say is like, okay, fine. By the way, 99% of job applications and applicants through DMs are scams. So if you're looking to hire someone and you just look at your DMs, you will most likely get scammed. So what they do on that one is same thing, right? So there's several types of scams when you hire people. Number one is they'll do this trick, which we've seen many times. You tell them, so every single interview we do is always through our Zoom links. I will never join anyone else's link. Simple as that. That's it. You want to work for us, I send you my link. I never click on your link. If you have a problem with that, that's fine. Find a job somewhere else. So Kais and I, never click on any, we will never join another Zoom room if it's for a job for CoinRock, number one. If someone can't make it or it doesn't work on their device, that's their fault. They have to figure it out. Number two, of course, when they have access to code, backend, etc., we have like a full KYC process, etc. So that minimizes so we want like the passport, everything of that person. We will do our own due diligence and background checks with that person. We have background check providers. If it's something, if they have, of course, if it's a graphic designer, we don't need full KYC. But if it's something sensitive, of course, we need to know exactly where they are, where they live, full passport, everything. That already weeds out a lot of the bullshit. And what we do then is we ask questions. I won't give the playbook here, but we ask enough questions to isolate and know if they're scam developers, basically. So multiple types of scams. Number one, they will either try to send you a link or try to connect with you on Discord or on Telegram or send you to a channel. Never do that. Number two is they will get the job and then they will play what's pretty much a longer con where they'll join the team and they will have access to code, and then they will want to either steal the code or they will want to put malware or put a backdoor in and then steal funds that way. So there's a lot of different ways to scam and to fraud. Those are two very common ways. We see this, like I said, the fake OTC deal, the fake OTC deal. Now it's every week, especially because we have multiple projects. And the more CoinRock grows, the more visibility we get, the more, of course, we get DMs. That's why I don't reply to DMs if I don't know the person. Like in this case, Aragon, he's been with us for over a year now. Yeah, I'm looking at the calendar. It's March. So January, February last year. So we have a relationship. And it mitigates, but I will never click on links that people send me that I don't know. Interviews are always, we send you the link. If you can't connect, that's on you. And so we have those protocols. We have a lot of other ones, but I won't get into that publicly because it's also our way of weeding the good and the bad. So that's the second one. Oh yeah, and the third one. So I said OTC scams, hiring scams. The third one is the partner scam. So, hey, we're looking to partner up with you. We have a similar project, or I represent. Usually, it's the hey, I represent, an unnamed project that we can disclose once we've either signed or agreed to something. It's always very kind of mysterious, right? As if they represent Apple, right? And they need to make you sign like 20 pages of NDAs. All bullshit, by the way. So the fake partnership agreements. Yeah, so we can partner, but we need to connect you. So the person reaching out to you will be basically a rep, quote, rep of multiple different projects. And they say, hey, I work with different projects and we think there is a good fit to partner to basically connect your audience to this massive audience. Remember, they always sell you the dream, right? This huge audience, untapped investors, massive audience of new, fresh investors and eyeballs and users for your project. So if you're new to the game, it's very easy to get, to take the bait, unfortunately, right? And so what they do with the fake partnership is the same thing. It's the fake Zoom conference. And so they're very smart about this, right? Because they'll send you a link that looks like Zoom, or it has the word Zoom in it, or it has something like, I don't know, onlineconferencesystem.com. One of those things that looks legit. And the actual website, if you go to the main website, by the way, these scammers are very smart because they will set up a corporate looking website. So if you don't trust the link and you type in the .com, let's say they send you, how Zoom gives you like zoom.com / and then like letters and numbers. And then if you think the internet game and you're like, okay, I'm just going to go to the root domain and see if there's actually a domain name with a good looking website, these fuckers actually put together a good looking website that looks sometimes pixel perfect. It looks like Zoom, like the real Zoom. So they'll send you a link that looks like it. Of course, it's a scam link. So as soon as you click on that and you install anything, you're fucked. But you think that it looks good. So the fake partnership is always about selling the potential of accessing these big different audiences and different projects. And, we represent, multiple top 50 founders and crypto projects, and we want to connect you and your new project or your project with these mega projects to access more eyeballs. Complete scam. Click on the link, you're fucked. So we've seen this. We see this every day. Nothing new. I do like the fact that it's being tweeted. I tweeted about this a few months ago. I think I should talk about this more because, look at these guys. So noted the scam attempted to wasn't optimized for mobile devices. Yeah, it's like they make you feel like the carrot is big enough, the prize is big enough, and then they say, oh, we can't connect, and then you're fucked, right? Because you click on the wrong link. This guy here, founder of DevDoc, who disconnected his laptop after realizing the deception. Again, these guys probably have good operational security, good knowledge, but it's easy to get fooled, especially when the carrot is big enough. So be very careful, right? We've seen this, nothing new. Scammers are smart. They will get smarter with time because there's a lot of money. So just be careful. All right, moving on, because I need to wrap this up in about 10 minutes max. Yesterday, we had 2 days ago, we had a pre-recorded a CoinRock Show episode with Adam, who works at. So this was very, very interesting. We don't have the link to the full show yet. So it'll be up probably in the next few days. Adam, who works directly with institutions. They basically have it's pretty cool. So we'll link everything when the episode is up. We'll link everything here. And this, I wanted to give you guys an insight as to how institutions and big players think. Talk about the BlackRocks of the world, multi-billion-dollar funds, how they think about crypto, how they're thinking about this downturn, how this how they deploy funds, how they think about dips during bull cycles or new industries like crypto. And so it was very interesting. I just wanted to tell you guys here that institutions, so some alpha here for you guys. Institutions prefer Bitcoin over altcoins. And this was one of my quotes here, but I definitely we'll have a full article about this. I don't know if this is the one. Maybe I got the wrong one here. It will definitely be an article. Maybe, I don't know if it's on here yet. Let's have a look at opinions here. It might not be done yet. When we have it, no, it hasn't been done yet. So we'll have the full summary of, this is the episode. Let's have a look. Yeah, so this is the full episode, guys. I think everyone should watch this. It was awesome. How the big players think about Bitcoin and beyond. So I don't know if we linked everything up yet, but we will. So the team's watching here. Let me just send this to the team here. If you guys can link everything and put all of Adam's links to this one here. So so everyone can check them out. But yeah, this is a must-watch episode. It was pre-recorded, highly recommended, just because we talked about, the idea that there's a lot of things that if you're retail in crypto, you don't really see or understand. So you need to understand what's happening on the back end, behind the scenes, when it comes to how institutions think. Great episode, and we have a lot more really interesting guests coming up soon. Quick one here, SEC moves. We have at least a headline almost every day of these. SEC moves to dismiss charges, and this time against Token Metrics CEO Ian Bolina. After 3 years of legal proceedings, Token Metrics CEO Ian Bolina announced that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, dismissed the case. Very bullish for the industry. Again, very bullish headlines. This was a case, so have a look at this. Background of the case, the SEC first filed charges against Token Metrics in September 2022. Fucking almost 3 years ago, accusing him of promoting Sparkster tokens during the ICO. So something that happened in 2018, got started in 2022, dropped in 2025. So promoting tokens during the ICO without disclosing that he received a 30% bonus on his $5 million investment. The agency argued, so the SEC argued, that undisclosed incentive violated securities laws and misled his audience. We've seen this many times, right? But again, super bullish for the industry. SEC case dropped, we won. The SEC dropped its case, a huge one for crypto. We saw this with the Richard Hart dismissal last week, I believe. Crypto moves so fast. Sometimes I'm like, was this like 6 months ago? No, it was like literally, I think 6-7 days ago, the Richard Hart one. So founder of Hex. Again, the SEC's shifting stance on crypto continues. Very bullish for the industry. The SEC dropping a lot of cases. From what I'm hearing from, rumblings in the industry at all levels, including regulators, people highly connected to lawmakers, and on the legal side too, is that the SEC will keep pursuing fraud. And we have actually a headline about that. But will drop and is dropping these. Is the token a security? Was it sold without, it was the securities laws breached or not? It seems like the SEC right now is not interested in pursuing these cases, but they will be pursuing criminal and fraud cases. I don't think they're going to be dropping those, from what I'm hearing. Speaking of, let's have a look at this. So, Indian authorities arrest. I want to get to this one last. Actually, let's do this one first. Indian authorities arrest Garantex founder for U.S. extradition. You do not want to be extradited to the U.S. for this kind of stuff. So, again, it's good that the industry is getting a lot of these cases dropped by the SEC when it comes to non-criminal stuff, when it comes to was the crypto sold as what we just saw, right? Is the token a security? Is it a utility? All these kind of questions that we still don't have any clear framework yet. It is coming in the coming months, but as of today, we don't know, because the US hasn't released anything yet. Some countries have much more clarity. The difference between a utility project or a pure kind of revenue only project, that needs to be defined at this point. That being said, in a coordinated action with the aid of the International Police Cooperation Unit of CBI Kerala in India, police have arrested a wanted criminal of USA. I love how they write this, of USA, who was planning to flee the country. Lithuanian citizen is wanted by U.S. authorities on a number of charges, including conspiracy to commit money laundering and probably a lot of other stuff, because money laundering is not good, but it's usually tied to fraud. So let's have a look at this one. 27th of February. So alleges that Besyokov and co-conspirator Alexander Mira Serda facilitated illicit financial activities through Garantex, a crypto exchange that U.S. authorities claim was used to launder proceeds from... Oh, yes, I remember this. So I don't know if you guys remember, there was a lot of... I actually watched a documentary about this. There's some really good ones on YouTube, some channels that do these very good kind of... I mean, much better than Bloomberg documentaries, for example. But I saw a documentary about ransomware and malware and these hacking groups that attack critical infrastructure like hospitals, Colonial Pipeline. I don't know if you guys remember the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack a few years ago. I think it was, what was it, last year? When was Colonial Pipeline? Colonial Pipeline cyber attack. 2021. 2021. So, and of course, when these attacks happen, the company pays in Bitcoin, and then the criminals have to launder that money or get that money out, right? They have to off-ramp. And so, as you guys know, because we talked about the Bybit thing, right? There's many different ways to wash crypto, one of which is actually using centralized exchanges that are super shady and collaborate with these criminals. So I don't know about this one, but US authorities claim that Garantex was used to launder proceeds from ransomware attacks, hacking schemes, drug sales, and sanctions violations. If any of you guys want to run a centralized exchange, this is not the way to do it, because the US will hunt you down. And in this case, I mean, they've been extraditing a lot of criminals, actually. A lot of crypto. Even the EU has been extraditing criminals when it comes to this stuff. So again, on one side, we're seeing the SEC dropping these honestly very low risk cases. Is this token a security? Is this token a utility? That is in the eye of law enforcement very low risk today. This is high risk because this is, we're talking about, like I said, if you look at the Colonial Pipeline attack, that was, around that time, hacking groups were also attacking children's hospitals and literally cutting down power in hospitals. So literally people died. That's a problem. And so, yes, the hospitals pay up, and then the Bitcoin needs to be, moved and laundered. And so if you assist in that, or at least if you don't have enough checks and balances to make sure that this is mitigated, and that if you run an exchange, there are several people who run their own centralized exchanges, you need to have processes and procedures in place to minimize this. And if this happens, we talked about OKX yesterday. I think it was yesterday, right? With apparently OKX was used by the Bybit hackers to move money. They need to be able to show that they try to immediately shut the wallets down, blacklist the wallets, freeze funds quickly. If not, and if this is a repeated behavior, that's a problem, right? So it seems like this is what happened here. Crackdown on Garantex intensifies. Tether froze. I will say Tether's been very fast with this, in these situations. Tether froze $27 million worth of USDT linked to the platform on March 6th, so last week. Garantex suspending all services, including withdrawals. U.S. authorities seizing 3 domains associated with Garantex operations. So, of course, if you run an exchange, there's money to be made by collaborating with hackers. But, of course, the U.S. is relentless. If they want you, they will find you. And this is not something. This is not. Oh, we talked about this actually the other day at dinner. Yeah. So Do Kwon, the founder of Luna UST, is has been extradited to the US. So that case is going to be very interesting to follow. I'm curious to see the court documents in the US, because I think there's a lot of unknowns about what really happened around Luna UST. And of course, Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder of FTX, was arrested in the Bahamas, and then he was extradited to the he was arrested in the Bahamas and extradited to the US. I think this is bullish for the industry. I think that overall, this will help clean up the space, which means bigger money can come in, and this industry actually will have more of a future if this is minimized. Next one. So we'll finish with the bullish news here of Abu Dhabi. Quick one here about, I'm already late, but I'll try to hop off in 5 minutes, guys. See, we always go over the hour. This is like 1 hour and 11 minutes. Welcome if you guys just joined. This is the CoinRock Show. We review the news every day. We talk about sometimes random shit, sometimes the news. This is all on CoinRock Media on the platform. This is our news arm, the news and media arm of CoinRock. And so let's finish this in the next 5-10 minutes. Libra, this was the Monday of the Bybit hack, I believe, which is about 3 weeks ago. Interpol has been asked by Argentinian prosecutors to put Hayden Davis on the Interpol red notice list. This is not a joke. That means you can't travel. That means you're kind of fucked. Anytime your passport gets scanned, if you're on the red list, you basically get held at the airport and then dealt with. Either they send you to the country asking for you, and in this case, this is not looking good, bro. We talked about this, right? So we talked about this. I was actually on the treadmill talking about this back in like 3 weeks ago. We were on with Lucas, DeFi Daddy, talking about the Libra scam. And so this, I mean, look at this. This is what happened. Like, what the actual fuck is this? Like, this is so bad. So bad. I'm all for making money, but fucking, like, do it, like, at least don't make it this obvious, right? Look at this shit. Like, what is this? Right? Anyway, not good. I've been very outspoken about the fact that this is too big to ignore. I think they were super greedy. They could have made if they took over $100 million in coins. I haven't looked at the wallets, but well over $100 million. They could have made $5 to $10 million, and honestly, no one would have cared. No one. But when a president is involved, and there's $100 million, and you go in CoffeeZilla that morning or the next day, there's going to be people knocking and coming for you. So let's have a look at this one. The Libra crypto scandal, which has rattled Argentina's political and financial landscape, escalated this week as Argentine lawyer Gregorio Dalbon formally requested an international arrest warrant for Hayden Davis. Dalbon submitted a petition to lead prosecutor, urging them to seek an Interpol red notice. The alleged, again, I'm all for the word alleged, right? Nothing has been proven yet in court. We just know that Hayden Davis mentioned very clearly that he was involved in some way with this scandal. I mean, this is him. right? He talked about being close to Javier Milei, the Argentinian president. This is a big problem. It's one thing if you rug and you're like I said, like a Z-list celebrity. You on like a what's that, those bachelor shows like Love Island and that stuff. No one cares about you, bro. Like if you rug your coin and you make, I don't know, 50K, it sucks and you shouldn't, and you're a scumbag. But it's not the same issue. It's not the same. It doesn't put you on the red on the Interpol list compared to this, right? So the Libra scandal has entangled Milei in a political firestorm. Earlier this month, Tayana moved to freeze about $100 million in crypto tied to this. So those are the Hayden Davis wallets, the Kelsier Ventures. So Kelsier Ventures is basically is Hayden Davis's quote venture fund. Dalbon's legal filings explicitly links Davis to the scheme, asserting that his company, Kelsier Ventures, played a pivotal role in Libra's creation. Interpol red notice and legal consequences. Red notices are typically issued for serious financial crimes, fraud, and other major offenses. If granted, this is interesting, right? So if granted, Davis's request would be circulated among basically all the Interpol countries, and then anytime you travel, you're fucked. You get arrested, right? And then usually sent back to the country looking for you. That's it. So Davis has retained Waymaker Law, an LA-based firm specializing in financial crimes. Again, I'm all for innocent until proven guilty. This is a huge accusation. I think you need multiple law firms, at least one, and a great one. But there's a lot of legal work here. So again, Davis maintains his innocence, arguing that he sought only to develop Libra as a successful cryptocurrency. And look, fair enough. Again, let's see what happens if he is found to be innocent. All good. But this is something that definitely escalates, right? Let's end on a bullish note. Abu Dhabi. I mean, actually, this is bullish too. I think this is great. This avoids, after the Libra. Remember, like the trenches basically died after Libra. So, if you look at the last 2-3 months, right, in trading volume, it's the Trump coin, the Melania coin, and the Libra coin. Especially after Libra, I mean, the trenches are quote cooked, right? The mood. I know several KOLs who lost a lot of money in Libra. Because, Trump did well. Melania did well. Not as good as Trump, of course. But the idea was Milei is close to Trump, right, through Elon. This is a cook. And the only one who cooked was Hayden, it seems. And then the question is he going to get cooked? We'll see. But joking aside, the market has been down only since. I think it's if you look at I saw pump funds revenue yesterday dropped just because there's less interest, right? You see the timeline. People are depressed. So this is a net negative for the space. Again, I'm all for creating tokens, launching tokens, investing, token launchers. That's not the problem. This shit is the problem. Not this shit. The Abu Dhabi thing is a very good move. But this, well, that's a problem too. But this is not okay. This has no space, no place in the space. This should stop. All right, Abu Dhabi, this is the last news. I need to hop off like in a few minutes now. Abu Dhabi invests $2 billion in stablecoins in Binance. So as you guys know, Dubai, the UAE, has been extremely bullish and pro crypto for years now. They've been openly, many tier 1 exchanges are based in the UAE or have major offices in the UAE. CoinRock, we did an event last year with Bybit at Bybit's headquarters in the UAE in Dubai. So great office space, by the way. I've been there maybe, I don't know, 30 times now. So the UAE is extremely pro-crypto. This is very bullish because it's a direct investment in Binance. And what's interesting is I saw the headline, and I believe it was done in stablecoins. Abu Dhabi-based investment firm MGX has made a bold entrance into the crypto space with a $2 billion investment in Binance, marking one of the largest funding deals in the sector's history. Announced yesterday, the transaction represents the first institutional investment in Binance. The deal will be this is it. This is the big headline here. So of course, $2 billion is big. It's apparently that fund's first investment, so that's huge. But this is the big headline here. This is what we want to see. This is what you want to see. It's investments in stables, not just cash and fiat, right? The deal will be entirely funded through stablecoins. Though the announcement has not specified which stablecoin was used in the transaction. This is huge. That means that, again, what we want to see in a space, especially a growing space, is we want to see trends getting set. $2 billion transaction, Binance, the biggest name in crypto, and stablecoins. Amazing. That means that other funds, it is highly likely that other funds will start investing in stables. So into companies with stables. Very good. We are excited. This is the Binance tweet. We're excited to announce the first ever institutional investment in Binance by MGX AI. The $2 billion investment is also the single biggest, largest investment into a crypto firm, and this is Dubai. Yeah. So Dubai and Abu Dhabi, it's basically a 45-minute drive, very close. Different states though, but very close. And yes, this is extremely bullish. MGX's investment in Binance reflects our commitment to advancing blockchain's transformative potential for digital finance. The need for secure, compliant, and scalable blockchain infrastructure and solutions has never been greater. Very, very happy with this. Congrats to CZ. You know, Binance gets so much hate, and it's my view on Binance is the same view I have on Tether. I think that, you know, every now and then you see people wishing Binance and hoping that Binance goes down. Like, are you retarded? Do you understand that if Binance goes down, I think the latest number I saw is 200 million users. How many users does Binance have? 200-ish. So this is in 2023. So I see here on Wikipedia 2 years ago, 120 million users globally. Okay, so let's say around 120, probably 100, around. Okay, Binance has surpassed, this is from Binance.com, has surpassed 170 million. Yeah, that's what I thought. 170 million users. Wikipedia is so bad sometimes. Anyway, these developments, yeah, around 200, between 200 and 250. This is, yeah, so the last numbers I saw were around 250 now. Very bullish. And again, if you want Binance to die, if Binance goes down and disappears, it is the end of the market. And yes, I know people say, oh no, you know, crypto will survive. Yeah, it will. But imagine the effect of like the number one, it's like the biggest bank in the world going down. I mean, the ripple effect will be catastrophic. Thousands of large investors and funds, so thousands of large entities, individual investors, funds, pooled investors have their funds on Binance. Whether you agree with centralized exchanges or not is a different story. Binance is the monster of this industry, has to survive. This is great. I hope Binance does I hope Binance is here for the next 50 years. Binance is very bullish for the industry. Yes, of course, listing on Binance lately for tokens has been down only, not bullish on that side. But they, congrats to CZ for building the biggest platform and one of the biggest brands in not just Web3 and crypto, but in all of financial services. So very bullish on this. And I think this is great for the future. And I think anyone hoping that Binance goes down should check their brains out, because it would be horrendous for the industry. That being said, let's end on this good Binance, this good piece of news for Binance. Thank you for joining, everyone. This was the CoinRock Show. Again, I try to do this in like an hour, and we're at 1:25. Hope everyone is doing well. We'll be on tomorrow to do kind of a recap of the week. Same time, same place on X. Set your notifications on. And also a few calls to action here. We have been posting on TikTok aggressively, shorts and reels. Follow the TikTok over there. Follow the X also. And if you're trading and sniping, use Jeetbot for that. It is a CoinRock backed and CoinRock produced bot, a Telegram bot right now, also expanding to a web app in the coming weeks. So if you're not trading on Jeetbot yet, definitely give it a try. We're pushing some big updates in the coming days. And that's it for today. Thanks for joining, and we will talk to you. We'll be on tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Hey, thanks for watching. If you got value from this episode, you're going to love what's coming next. So subscribe now. We drop new episodes and videos several times a week, featuring power players, market movers, and insiders from the financial world. And if you want access to deals and insights we only share privately, hit the links in the description, and we'll see you on the next show.